Welcome to the Core Women Podcast, the place for women entrepreneurs, authors, and self-starters looking to build community and gain valuable insights through expert interviews with women at the top of their game. Join your host, podcaster, producer, expert coach, entrepreneur, and author, Dr. Summer Watson, as she aims to inspire and empower you through these candid conversations. Lean in and embrace the journey. It's time to start the show. Here's your host, Dr. Summer Watson.
Today on the Core Women Podcast, I would like to welcome Sam Bennett. Sam is the author of the books Get It Done, Start Right Where You Are, and her latest release, The 15-Minute Method, the surprisingly simple art of getting it done. As a writer, speaker, actor, and productivity specialist, Sam is dedicated to helping overwhelmed creatives and frustrated overachievers get unstuck through her company, TheRealSamBennett.com. Additionally, Sam is a highly sought-after course instructor on LinkedIn Learning with over 1 million class participants worldwide. Residing in Connecticut, she continues to inspire and empower people globally. I am thrilled to have her with us today. Welcome to the podcast, Sam.
Thank you so much, Summer. Thank you so much for having me. Hi, everybody.
Absolutely. I'm thrilled to have you here. So let's jump right into this. Before we dive into your professional journey, I always like to ask, if you could describe your journey in one word to this point, what would that word be and why?
Image that comes to my mind is lily pad.
Lily pad. Okay. Take it away, Sam, because this is the first lily pad word I've had. And I love it.
Yeah, it's not like I've ever had some incredible plan, to my life. It's all been a little inadvertent or catch as catch can. I've certainly had a lot of ambitions in my life. But I feel like to get there, it's been just kind of lily pad to lily pad, this opportunity to that opportunity, to this thing that happens, to that thing that happens, and just jumping, just jump to the next lily pad, just keep going.
Yeah, I totally love it. You are the leaper. You're the frog that's jumping from lily pad to lily pad. Lily pad. First time I ever got that one. So creative. And it totally gives you the visual that you need, because I think that's where we're going. We're going to go down this road of exploration into your life. So let's jump into the next question. Sam, can you start by sharing what inspired you to write the 15-minute method and how it differs from your other books?
So I've been talking about the 15-minute thing for a long time. It shows up in my first book. I use it all over the place just because it's so accessible. It's so right now. I really want to get people out of pondering, out of perfectionism, out of overwhelm, out of, oh, where do I begin? All that. Like, well, just set the timer for 15 minutes and start, and then see where you are 15 minutes later. Like, it's okay. You're not going to break anything.
Yeah.
Or maybe you will break some things. I don't know. I think that's how I ended up with my first divorce. I was like, oh, shoot.
Whatever comes of that 15 minutes, it's a 15 minutes of exploration, right?
That's right.
Right. So
take it lightly. And yes, you may break what needs to be broken or what is already broken, but mostly it's 15 minutes. Just get started. But more and more and more and more and more and more and more, I hear these words: overwhelm, busy, perfectionism.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't tell you the profound boredom that I feel when I hear these words. I'm like, overwhelmed? Really? That's you doing that to you.
Mm.
Overwhelm is not something that the world does to us. It is something we do to ourselves inside of our mind. And we know this because people who work in chronically overwhelming situations are not overwhelmed. The intake person at the ER is not overwhelmed. She's fine. She's doing her job. The first responder is not overwhelmed. They're running into burning buildings, but they're not overwhelmed. They're doing their job. So it's not everything else. It's you. Take the responsibility for the things that you can actually control. Stop worrying about the things you can't. And then busy, like there's this international game of I'm so busy poker going on. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so busy. Oh, really? You're so busy? No, I am so busy. It's like, okay. Of course you are. We all have calendars. They all fill up. It's right up there with I don't have time. Time management is not about time. And when you tell me you're so busy, all you're telling me is you don't know how to control your calendar. That was part of it, this thing I keep hearing over and over again. But the other part of it is I've spent the last 2.5 years with long haul COVID.
Wow.
So peace out to my brothers and sisters out there with long-term, incurable, invisible illnesses. Go team. But there have been plenty of days in the last 2.5 years in which I could not do more than 15 minutes. I
Yeah.
could not get out of bed. And in fact, rolling over in bed seemed ambitious. But I still had a business to run. I still had family. I still had obligations. I still had things that needed to happen. And so the 15-minute thing really saved me.
Well, it sounds like it really comes from a personal place. It's something that you've watched around you, you've heard it around you, it's fed into your everyday life, plus you've experienced it. You've experienced that mental and physical clutter that could be overwhelming. Yes, I hear it all the time. Overwhelmed, busy, just feeling exhausted because of A, B, or C, or all of the above. What I like to say is we create brain maps. We create brain maps by what we do, what we say, the words
Hmm.
and phrases we use every day. That is creating a map to which we go back to and return to every
Right.
single day. I like the concept of this book because it reminds me of a book I read so long ago. It was called The 1 Minute Manager. And I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but
I have. Yeah.
yeah, it was a long time ago. It was when I was coming up the ladder in my professional arena. And so I like these concepts of how you can spend your time in a quality way to declutter the mental and physical clutter that you have going on. So, how does the 15-minute method help individuals let go of these unhealthy attitudes?
The main thing for the 15-minute method, the whole idea here is that you spend 15 minutes a day, every single day, on something that matters to you. I don't care if it matters to anyone else. I don't care if anyone else even knows about it. What I notice is we spend all day, every day getting everything done for everybody else. And the thing that you know would really make a difference to you, to your heart, the thing you really wanted to do, doesn't even make it onto the list.
Yeah.
And then we sort of have this idea of like, well, someday, when the kids are get out of school, or when the summer comes, or when I have that free weekend, or I'm going to take I need 3 months in Provence to write that book. Well, yes, I hope all that happens for you. And I notice that our life is happening today. So let's take 15 minutes today to write, to stretch, to practice ukulele, to sit in the garden with the sun on your face, to reach out to a friend, whatever it is that you know would really light you up on the inside, do that. And then do it again tomorrow.
Yeah. So you're kind of creating new habits, right?
Yes.
A new
Yes.
habit. And so let me ask you on a more personal level, as you were thinking about this book, as this concept has been part of your framework, as somebody who has experienced long haul COVID, what did you do every 15 minutes to make progress when you were not feeling well? How did you spend your 15 minutes? Where did you work that into your day so that you were being accomplished, effective, whatever you want to call it, within that 15 minutes?
So the first 15 minutes of my day, before I am even off the mattress, I spend doing a little sort of prayer, meditation, writing practice that I've been doing for 100 years. I sometimes joke that I write a letter to God or God writes a letter to me, depending on who needs to say what to whom.
Yeah, right.
And it's one of those things, like I said, I've done it forever. And sometimes I fall off the wagon and then I watch my life fall apart.
Mm,
And then I get back to my spiritual practice and I'm like, oh yeah, that's better. This is the other thing that fires me up about this is I notice that when I do those little 15-minute things that light me up, the whole rest of my day smooths out.
mhm. Yeah,
I'm not so stressed out. I'm calmer. I'm less reactive. I'm a better listener. All those things that I want to be are made more possible for me because like the lady said, put your oxygen mask on first, right?
right.
So that's how I spend my first 15 minutes every day. In terms of the book, I would often, have that feeling of like, oh gosh, the deadline for the book. I've got to work on the book. I've got to work on the book.
Right.
You can't write an entire book now. In the same way that you cannot get fit now. But I could spend 15 minutes making notes. I could spend 15 minutes writing a crappy first draft. I could spend 15 minutes going back through something I'd already written, trying to make it better. Can I make it more honest? Can I make it funnier? Can I take out some excess words? Can I remove all the intensifiers? Can I, all
Right.
those sentences that start with it is or it was or that was? Nope. Nope. Be better, be better. So yeah, it's the bird by bird, elephant one bite at a time method.
Great. Okay. So you had mentioned extra work. We can be so conditioned at times throughout our lives, and many people struggle with saying no to extra work. So, what advice do you have for those who find it difficult to tactfully decline additional responsibilities?
We're designed to live in a group. We're designed to care about the opinion of the group. That's people say like, oh, I'm a people pleaser. I'm like, yes, on purpose, by design. That's your software. Like, yeah, that's good. And like anything that you're uncomfortable with, practice, practice. So I have a whole list of ways you can say no. And I suggest reading them aloud just because it can be fun to hear your own voice say, right. I mean, everything from, thank you so much for thinking of me. I'm sorry I'm not available at this time.
Yeah, that's easy, right?
That's one way to say no.
Yeah.
I have a friend who will often say, oh God, no, that sounds horrible. And the minute I heard her say it, I think that's brilliant. I want to say that. So I said, hey, you want to help me clear the table? No, that sounds horrible. And sometimes I'll do it anyway. It's really fun to say. I have another friend. If you ask her to do something she doesn't want to do, she'll go, oh, you're so cute. Hey, want to help me, refurb this thing? Oh, you're so cute.
Right.
There's all kinds of ways to say no. And if you're looking for a really handy trick to this, if somebody asks you to do something, say, that sounds amazing. Thank you so much for thinking of me. Let me get back to you in insert appropriate time frame here.
Right.
And then you get back to them and you say, thank you so much for thinking of me. I'm not available. Because they know you've thought about it.
Yeah.
They'll let it go. Because I've got the big red I'll help button in the middle of my chest too. Like, I'll help. Somebody says, Sam, we need your help. I'm like, I'll help. No, just think about it and then say no. And then they'll take no for an answer if you hit the brake a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we are conditioned to readily jump in. So take the breath, take that opportunity. That is your given right. And say, you're so cute. Or,
oh God, no.
God, no.
Oh, that's horrible. I realized, no.
I love that response. Oh God, no.
Oh God, no.
It brings some levity, but honesty to it. Like, no, not even the words busy, I don't have time. None of that comes into play.
No.
It's just, oh God, no, that's so cute. Or take that step back and say, you know what? Thank you for thinking of me, but I'm not going to accept this at this time, or I'm not going to do this at this time, but tap me in the future. Something of that sort.
I'm not the right person for this. This is outside of my purview. I'm choosing not to spend time on that right now.
Right. You could also recommend somebody. You could also say, hey, listen, I don't have the time right now, but listen, I know somebody else that might. And I love to refer because you never know where those relationships are or how they're going to evolve and develop. Number one, but number two, they might be that perfect person.
That's right.
And that energy that flows through that connectedness and that referral could be magical. So I want to ask you this question as well. When we're breaking down intimidating tasks into manageable chunks, which is key to your method, can you walk us through how someone might apply this to a particularly daunting project?
Yes. Like I said, the point of the book is, for me anyway, my agenda for the book is that you spend time on the things that matter to you. So your creative endeavors, your personal endeavors. But it also applies for other things that are more real world and more practical or more concerning to others. So let's say like clean out the garage. Now we have this thing of like, well, I need 2 free weekends to clean out the garage. Okay, first of all, really? When's that happening? Show me that on the calendar. So I don't know about you, but I don't have it either. And I get it. So it's too big a job. Okay, fine. So take your mug of tea or coffee and go out into the garage and contemplate it for 15 minutes. Just be there with it. Take it in. And maybe the next day, again, mug of tea, can of beer, whatever you got, go out, contemplate. And it may be that you go, wait a minute, those 7 boxes, those are my brother's. Hey, come get your stuff, right? And now the garage is cleared out and you don't have to do a thing, right? Because your brother came and got his stuff. Or we start to go, oh, this box is Christmas stuff. Awesome. We can put that in the back because we only need that once a year. So we can do little bit by little bit by little bit. And yes, there may come the moment where you go, okay, now we're going to have a big family effort, take 3 hours and bang out this whole thing. But you can get started on anything in 15 minutes a day.
Yeah. The 15-minute method, the surprisingly simple art of getting it done. We've been through multiple examples, many tips. So I'm going to ask you my last question. For those who are constantly overwhelmed what would you say is the first step they should take to begin implementing the 15-minute method into their daily lives?
Set your timer and do it right now. Right now. I don't mean later this afternoon. No, right now. Just go ahead and do it. And I don't know what I would do. Fine. Stare at a blank piece of paper for 15 minutes. 15 minutes of enforced boredom never hurt a person. And when was the last time you sat there for 15 minutes and did not reach for your phone? So let yourself hear yourself. Let yourself tune in to that inner desire that says, well, I really would like to bust out that needlepoint project that's been sitting there since the baby was born and now they're graduating from high school. I really would like to maybe clear this 6 inches of my closet. I could do this much. I really would like to write 8 lines of crappy poetry. Like, yay, yes, yay, crappy poetry.
Right. Absolutely. Thank you so much for those first steps, because I think sometimes we get stuck because we feel like we need to get it all done right now.
And it's got to be perfect, and you
Right.
can't possibly make a mistake. And it's like, dude, it's 15 minutes, and you're going to do it again tomorrow, and the next day, and the day after that. And maybe you're going to get 3 months in and go, you know what? It turns out I thought I wanted to write a screenplay. Turns out I don't like writing screenplays. Awesome. Now you know. Moving on.
Right.
What else? What's next?
And what's lovely about that, it was 15 minutes of your day.
Right.
You have how many other minutes during your day?
Yeah.
15 minutes. I love this concept. I love the practical applications and the steps to this. And I know it's going to be so helpful and supportive to so many. So thank you, Sam, for joining me on the Core Women podcast today.
My pleasure. Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. You can follow Sam Bennett on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, X at Sam Bennett, or The Real Sam Bennett, or Real Sam Bennett, and at TheRealSamBennett.com.
Thank you for joining us on the Core Women podcast with Dr. Summer Watson. We're so glad you're here and would love to connect more with you. Find us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Core Women, and on Twitter at Core Women 1. For more about Core Women and Dr. Watson, visit corewomen.com. Want more support and resources for amazing women like you? Great! Join Dr. Watson and Jen Fontanilla at the Life, Love, and Money Collective, a Core Women production that aids in understanding the key traits that might be getting in the way of living a life that you are absolutely passionate about. Connect with Summer and Jen and find out more at thelifeloveandmoney.com.